Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for All About Android is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com.
This episode of All About Android is brought to you by Ting.com. Ting is a mobile phone service that makes sense. Save money with Ting. You pay for what you use. It doesn't require a contract and offers unlimited devices on one pooled plan. To save $25 on your first Ting device, visit allaboutandroid.ting.com. That's allaboutandroid.ting.com. And by 99 Designs, the world's largest graphic design marketplace. 99 Designs connects businesses seeking quality, affordable designs with a community of more than 225,000 graphic designers. Visit 99designs.com/AAA to receive a free power pack upgrade valued at $99. Hello and welcome to another episode of All About Android, episode 131, recorded on Tuesday, October 15th, 2013. We're your weekly source for the latest news, hardware, and apps for the Android faithful. I'm Jason Howell.
And I'm Gina Trapani.
Gina, I'm so stoked. I want you to announce it because I know it's a big deal for you. ThinkUp. What happened this morning with ThinkUp?
Oh, thank you so much. Well, my company ThinkUp kind of launched today with our crowdfunding campaign, where actually we're asking folks, potential or customers, future customers, to pre-subscribe to the service. It's going to be a web service. It's a social media analytics app. If you go to thinkup.com, you can subscribe at an early bird price now, and we're trying to get 1,000 subscribers by November 15th. We just launched today the campaign, and we're doing really well. And then the service is going to launch in January 15th. So I'm really, really excited to finally get this out the door. It basically works like Kickstarter, except it's just at thinkup.com.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
bringing the crowdfunding into your own site. I love it. I didn't know what to expect when I saw that you were doing a crowdfunding campaign, but the URL was to your own site. It looks and works the same way as something like Kickstarter. It's great.
Yeah, thanks. We built that because we had to build a subscription system anyway, but it's funny, we were so crammed before launch that we had a limited number of early bird subscriptions, but I forgot to not that I forgot, I just ran out of time, didn't have time to write the code of what happens when that sells out.
Yeah, right.
So my co-founder called me and was like, hey, we're at -1 on the front page, for early bird subscriptions, you need to write the code to put in sold out. I was like, oh, right. So that's the advantage to actually using Kickstarter, is that's all built for you.
That's okay. It sounds like it didn't really take you down that far, and so far a big success. But congratulations, that's really cool. I love finding out about these campaigns and launches after the fact. We do the show every week, had no idea, and suddenly it comes up and I'm like, wow, that's really awesome. I love that you've been working on this kind of in the background, and boom, there it is. So congratulations.
I felt the same way about your crowdfunding campaign, so it is kind of fun. It's fun to be like, here's the thing I've been working on, to talk about for a while. So thank you so much.
Well, congrats. And we are actually welcoming two folks to the studio today. Ron had to bail. He just spent a bunch of time at Comic-Con in New York, and he was not feeling very good, and so he asked if he could duck out, and of course he could. He was run ragged, but we're stoked to be joined by Miriam Jouar. No longer with Engadget, actually. Last time you were here, you were with Engadget.
That's right.
Now you're with Pocket.
Pocket?
Or sorry, not Pocket.
Pebble.
Pebble. There we go. Sorry.
Yes. Sorry.
Derp.
It's another P word.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Go and blame me for that. Pebble, which is
Pebble.
yes,
These
on your
guys.
wrist right there.
Yeah. So I got this fantastic opportunity to join the Pebble team as product evangelist, which basically means that I get to go around, preach the good
Pebble
word.
Choir.
Yeah, exactly.
Preach to the Pebble Choir.
Preach the good word
to those that aren't to the Pebble Choir.
It involves a bunch of things. It's a smart startup. You do a whole bunch of stuff, but mostly it's product focused for me, which is kind of like being on the other side.
Yeah.
Of the media, but I could not say no because it was just such a great opportunity.
That sounds awesome.
And so I left Engadget, and I'm still writing and podcasting a little bit on the side, as a guest, various places. And I have so many relationships, so many wonderful people in the industry that I'm still receiving devices like the new Chromebook here, and this other thing we'll talk about, this monstrosity.
Monstrosity indeed.
But
Yes.
yeah, I mean, so I'm here to talk a little bit about Pebble and a little bit about other things. So
Awesome. Well, stoked to have you here, as always. It's great to have you here as well in the studio. And then Aaron Newcomb, plus many other things all over Twitter and elsewhere.
Yes.
It's good to have you back, man.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Absolutely.
Yep. And don't let Ron say that it takes 2 people to fill his shoes, because he's going to say
saying
that next
right
time.
now. Totally. He's absolutely. He's probably firing that away in an email right now.
That's not the case. We're just here because we enjoy talking about Android.
And I knew this was going to be a firework-filled show. We've got a lot to talk about this week. A lot of cool stuff. I mean, what at this time of year, what show would be complete if we didn't talk about more Nexus and KitKat rumors? Because we are really, actually today was potentially one date where it was all going to be unveiled. That didn't happen, but we still have some stuff to talk about. We have an in-studio review of the monstrosity that Miriam mentioned, the HTC One Max, a possible Amazon HTC collaboration somewhere in the future, and so much more. But let's get right into the news. All right, so we might as well start with a news segment devoted to things that are probably going to be announced very soon. I think I was saying in the pre-show, this whole week I expected that today was actually going to be the official announcement of something. I don't know why I ever expected that, because I was fooled, I guess.
I expected it too, to be honest.
I know,
It
but-
really
I did
looked
too.
like, when you asked me like last week or whatever it was about TNT this morning, I was like, I'd love to be there, but I don't know if there's a Nexus 5 event.
Right.
I might be invited. So.
And then the
let's see
event
how it
wasn't
goes.
announced, and then it was like, oh, well, they'll probably learn from last year, and they're just going to put out a press release. That's totally what's going to happen.
Nah, I think I wouldn't be surprised if we still get something.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be later on.
Yeah, kind of seems that way.
Yeah.
We still have a lot of leaks and kind of things that have hit around what we might possibly find out at this announcement that has yet to take place. Let's start with the Nexus 5. We have kind of a tell-all, more or less, 7-minute HD video. It was shot on October 9th and is showing the device in just up-close and personal gory detail, along with a lot of the KitKat splashes. The build is a little older than some of the other leaks that have hit the web, but still, it's kind of a good kind of close-up look from someone holding the device and showing it off in every incarnation. Those dual bottom of the phone speakers, I like that. I don't know. I'm getting really pumped. This is my next phone.
Yeah, me too.
So you mean I won't have to cup my hand behind the phone to get good quality sound anymore? I can actually. I mean, the HTC One had pretty good sound, pretty good speakers. But like on my S4, I always have to the speaker's still in the back, which doesn't make any sense, right?
Right.
So
doesn't.
I've got to hold my hand behind the phone and cup it, and I get the sound to sound. Or you can use, some people actually use cups, right, and put their phone over the cups to get good sound. So I'm anxious to see if those speakers on the bottom actually work.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you talk to some of the manufacturers that are making the designs with the speaker on the back, they'll tell you they did that on purpose, because when you're holding the phone, it actually helps to project the sound. I've had very mixed
I have too.
results
Yeah,
where that's
no,
concerned,
I-
though. Sometimes it just completely blocks it.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
But
We'll
Yeah,
see.
now that I've got the HTC One, I can't imagine having a phone without the speakers on the front. I love the speakers on
know.
the front. It's the best part of the HTC One. Yeah, for me.
I agree. I think it's okay on the bottom, but I would almost prefer them being forward-facing. There were also some images leaked from a Russian location of some sort, I guess, complete with Nexus branding on the back. Some of these leaks haven't had any of that kind of big Nexus in big letters emblazoned on the back. This one did, so it's possibly a more recent leak. And one thing that I noticed in these pictures is the soft touch backing is kind of a fingerprint magnet. Look at that. But I mean, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably
Either that or
feels
they just
right.
ate an entire bag of potato chips for doing the video. So, I mean, some people don't think of these things.
That's
like,
true.
if you do
Look.
enough media work, you learn to wipe the screen before you do a video, wash your hands and everything else. But some people don't know this yet.
Good point. Maybe if we dissected what's in the background there, we'd see some potato chip bags or some crumbs or something. But
Somebody in chat, just go figure this out. Investigative work,
yes, enhance that photo.
enhance.
But yes, ultimately, I'm getting pretty excited. I need a new phone.
Are you
and
still on Galaxy Nexus?
I'm still on the Galaxy Nexus.
It's a good phone,
Nice.
It is a good phone.
I'm on
Scratch in
a
the
Nexus 4, white one with a really ugly, dirty bumper. Mostly because my first one was a black one. and it's the only phone I've ever had that I broke the screen on. And it was not because I dropped it; it's because I bent it.
Wow.
Did
Yeah.
you bend it to see? Like,
Well, no.
oh, I
What
wonder how-
happened was the volume button got stuck.
Oh,
And so I was like, maybe there's just some dirt
Right.
behind there. Like I should just like
Wiggle
kind
it.
of wiggle it a little
Yeah.
bit. Maybe it'll fall out. And I just heard this like sound.
Oh.
And then the whole screen just went. Now, of course, the digitizer is built into the glass, so that killed
That's
that.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very odd.
That's tough.
So the first one I didn't have a bumper on, and the edges that look like chrome are actually plastic, and they were getting dinged in my pocket from nothing else in there, just bumping
weird.
into things.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, the Nexus is a pretty affordable phone. You can't really be too upset about the fact that the plastic is pretty much like fingernail malleable.
Yeah.
But I decided for this second white one, because the white one is going to be such a limited edition, I would get the bumper for it.
Bumper's not too.
It's not too
bulky
bad, but
either.
the bumper got very dirty very quickly, as
Yeah.
you saw. And it's just like, I should have done a black bumper with a white phone. That would have been awesome.
That would have been cool. I always do at least some sort of protection, because I usually end up selling my phone to go to another phone, eventually. And so I always I always put something on here just so that when I sell it, when people look at it, they'll be like,
It
oh
looks
yeah, it looks
clean and
clean,
yeah.
it looks nice, okay, So I always do that, and it's really not. If you drop this thing, it's gonna crack, right? If you drop it hard enough, this isn't really to protect from drops. It's just to protect the cosmetics of the phone, so that when I sell it, people are like, "Ooh, it's in good condition."
Because that's actually a pretty darn thin.
Yeah, that's a really nice
is.
case for the S4 you got there.
Yeah, it's really small. It got good ratings on Amazon. Thank you, Amazon.
Well, I know what it's like to drop a phone and, be in the same room where a phone that my wife has drops and suddenly the screen shatters. Happened last night. So I'm kind of, by extension, part of the club. Now I'm just fearing for my life that this doesn't break before the next Nexus is officially announced, because then I don't know what I'm going to do. Then I guess it's HTC Thunderbolt for...
Oh no,
That's probably what
Bring
my
back
wife
the
has to use,
Thunderbolt.
actually.
Did you have a Thunderbolt?
Yeah, we still have one.
Oh, you haven't lit it on fire yet?
No, I don't know why we didn't actually do that.
This is like actually the only phone from HTC ever that I think. Well, maybe there's a few others, but this is one of the worst. Fire.
Well,
Backyard.
we'll see. Not
Rubbing
now,
it
'cause
in,
my
rubbing
mouth-
it in.
Come on, Jason. You got some frustrations to get rid of. This
Maybe
is
it'll
it.
be a segment. If we're running short, if we are running out of things to talk about on a future episode, maybe we'll light it on fire. It actually would feel kind of good to do that. Other things that we haven't heard about quite yet, or at least officially, but we seem to be getting a lot of leaks, is KitKat, Gina.
Yeah, we are. Lots of rumors about changes. I mean, we're getting a lot of leaked images. So most of the commentary or breakdown of what changed is kind of design focused. And so a lot of minor stuff. We got a white notification bar, a lot more transparency. So, your wallpapers kind of show through, especially like in the app drawer, revised app drawer. The apps and widgets tabs are gone there. There's a 4x5 grid layout with bigger icons. From the leak screenshots, people are taking note particularly of the missing or the different lists of default Google apps. So no more messaging app, which might point to Hangouts being much more integrated. No more gallery app, but there is a Google Photos app, which is kind of interesting. Some enhanced location settings, and there possibility of an always listening mode, kind of a la the Moto X. And finally, rumors that there will be a Google Experience launcher, quote unquote. This is from actually Android Police, who kind of broke down this Google Experience launcher idea. I've been thinking, we've been talking about this on Twig for a while, that it would make a lot of sense for Google to do a Google specific launcher, particularly focused around Google Plus, something like Facebook Home. This just sounds like not necessarily Google Plus centric, and these are just rumors and speculation from Android Police and other Android blogs, but that this Google Experience Launcher will have deep integration with Google Search and Google Now, which makes a lot of sense. The Google Search Now screen would have a one-touch button to set a reminder, do searches. The amount of home screens wouldn't be limited to 5 anymore, looks infinitely expandable. No limit on how many shortcuts you can put into a folder, and then just a few changes to the app drawer. You can't add widgets from the app drawer. That's just apps. So this is kind of interesting. I'm really. I think the thing that I'm most looking forward to, I really could care less about things like the white notification bar and transparency. I mean, that's fine. That's you got to have some sort of design refresh, right, to make the OS feel new. But something that deeply integrates Google Now, I'm really, really interested in. I love the Google Now widget, home screen widget I have on my phone. That should be built in, and it wouldn't surprise me if KitKat had that sort of thing built in the way that the Google search bar is now across the top.
So
What do you guys think? You want Google Experience?
So I saw this, but I'm still not sure I understand it. I mean, there is a built-in launcher, right? I mean, and there's other launchers you can download. So I don't understand how this is different than what they have now. Like,
I think that Google is really separating the Android like as an operating system from this like layer of Google specific stuff. And we're seeing this with like Play services, right?
Yeah,
I think that this Google Experience launcher is going to be kind of like for Google phones, right? And then everybody else gets the regular, just generic, ASI or, Android OSP, launcher app. I think that Google's just separating those things.
Well, is it, or is it going to be available in the market for people that have TouchWiz and they want?
I think it's going to be the market.
Google. That's what makes sense to me.
Like I think Android, Google is like breaking down Android to pieces that people can add to their phones, and it's their way of like getting past the carrier approvals and the skins from the manufacturers for those people who understand they can actually get closer to a plain and a pure experience. I think it's fantastic.
Exactly.
I think it's really smart of them to do, and I can't wait. I really can't wait. This is awesome.
Yeah, because if that's true, it makes me a lot more excited for this. Because right now I run, whenever I get a phone, like I've got the S4, right? The first thing I did was I took TouchWiz off and I put Google Edition 4.3 on here because I want a pure Google experience. And not only am I familiar with it, it works great, it's fast, but also it doesn't run all the crapware in the background. So my battery life was doubled immediately just by putting Google Edition on here and taking TouchWiz off. So I just think that a lot of people are going to like this. Like you said, get rid of the crapware. Get rid of the stuff that's installed by default and just go, hey, you want to have the look and feel of, the Google experience? Here you go. I think that's great.
Yeah, the things that it doesn't change in this regard, though, is, something like the notification shade. If you're just installing it over the top of TouchWiz, installing the gel, there's actually, in the app list, there's an app in there called GEL, Google Experience Launcher. So basically the screenshots that you're seeing, that is the gel, that is the Google Experience Launcher. Included are those little dots that show you which home screen you're on. So yeah, I think that's exactly it. It's an app that you can install. It's not going to skin the entire thing because you're still not going to get that notification change necessarily, but it's yet another element that you can swap out if you want to.
Right.
And I'm all for that on as many elements as possible. So there we go. Interesting stuff. Was there anything else? I can't remember. I think that was about it for the most part.
Yeah, that was pretty much. Oh well, and the KitKat Google Plus page unveiled a little chocolate image of the Android. Kind of looks like he's surfing or dancing. I don't know. I think it says everybody dance now.
Did that today. And I don't know, maybe this is like the kind of KitKat that they threw out to everybody to say like, haha, you thought there was going to be some big announcement today, have this instead.
Yeah, maybe.
And I'd instead like to have the real thing so I could eat it.
I constantly get the feeling that the folks in the Android team at Google are just laughing their heads off.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Most of the time behind our backs, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm totally in support of it. I mean, I like that they're not that serious about themselves most of the time.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's just refreshing. You talk to Apple in comparison, or even HTC or Samsung, and it's just like, whoa, relax, people.
We're at a point right now in the week where Apple's official next event is scheduled, right? That's scheduled for next Tuesday, I believe.
Correct.
The 22nd.
So we're probably not going to hear anything about that. I mean, I guess we could hear about it at some point this week, but I'm guessing it's probably going to be after the Apple event at this point. What do you think? Halloween launch? 31st? That would be kind of interesting with the KitKat.
Interesting.
I think there's
KitKat zombie.
I mean, I think it plays well with the Halloween theme, but I think that it's a bad day.
Yeah.
I mean, people are like trying to get their kids dressed. They're not paying attention. It's like, I got to stop by the store and get that afro on the way home. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
From a marketing
launched
standpoint,
Gmail,
it's not the best day.
They launched Gmail on April Fools. I mean, at first people were like, "Oh, this is obviously a joke that we get this much space." I mean, this is back in 2005, so I don't know if Google, but yeah, I agree. The 31st, the end of this month, I feel like is just pushing it in terms of like holiday sales and getting out to people. I mean, once you get into November and like Thanksgiving's right there,
People are
I'm not convinced that Google cares about holiday sales though.
That's true.
I mean, it's a Nexus device. You know, it's obviously was clearly very popular with the Nexus 4. It certainly was a boom for LG. They got back on the radar in North America, certainly after the Nexus 4. But I'm not convinced that they care. I mean, they certainly want it out before the holidays. But the way I look at it is, if they hit it out before Black Friday, they're set.
Yeah.
Right? So it could even be like November 15th or something. I mean, I don't
that's
know.
a long time to wait.
I know, right? Like, you better guard that Galaxy Nexus with your life, Jason.
I know.
That's
Yes.
right.
Next time you see me, this is gonna be wrapped in bubble tape.
Airbags.
Yes, bubble wrap. Okay, so we've got a few more things to talk about. We're already over. So quickly here, Google Watch is another thing that seems to keep coming up. This gem, as it's being supposedly referred to, focuses on Google Now functionality along with the usual things like calendar, SMS, email, time stuff. Remember that Google bought Whim Labs last year. We only discovered
I
that
have
a few
the
months
Whim
ago.
Watch.
Yes, and
It's
yes, I spent
fantastic, actually.
it was interesting for what it was.
time.
It felt like it was the beginning of something very interesting. It wasn't fully there.
Oh, yeah.
But it was the start of something really cool.
I mean, this is like a year and a half ago now. So
Yep, absolutely. So it's pretty certain that something wearable is going to come from Google out of that eventually. Artem Rusikovsky at Android Police took the G Plus earlier this month with similar points about this Google Watch, but he also had a date of, guess what it is, October 31st. Halloween to throw out as a possible announcement.
Honestly, the Android folks are so whimsical. I wouldn't put it past
I totally
them
wouldn't
right.
to
either.
do
The more I
a
think about
Halloween
it.
special.
Yeah,
and
they're
like,
not the-
again, zombie KitKats.
Right. Even though I wouldn't do it as a marketing person, yeah, you're right. I wouldn't put it past Google because they don't care about that kind of
can
stuff.
get
They don't
away with
really.
it.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. They don't
It
get
ends
it.
up being the Halloween treat.
So-
Whatever, we're
that's right.
Google.
Yeah.
Yep. That would be a good stunt if you hand them out, right? Like give
candy.
them give them to Google employees and give 5 to each Google employee. So just hand these out randomly. Hand out one of these gems randomly as people come. That would be awesome.
Or hand out KitKats.
and KitKats, yes.
I think
boy.
I'm going to buy some KitKat shares later because I think Nestle, whoever it is, because I think there's going to be an upswing in sales. That's my prediction for the day.
I'm going to be trick or treating in Mountain View on Halloween. I don't know.
Yeah.
you
Trick or
guys.
treat in Mountain View.
Yeah.
Yes, right.
If I get a gem,
Just go to the Google campus and trick or treat there.
what should I dress up as?
See what you end up with. What else are we hearing, Gina?
Well, in sadder, well, maybe not sadder, in pivety news,
Yes.
Google TV, GigaOM reports that Google's going to phase out the Google TV brand and replace it with Android TV. Interesting. Interesting. This is all kind of rumor. Google spokesman had nothing to say about this. But the TV platform, Google TV announced 3 years ago. It's based on Honeycomb. Latest tablets are now on 4.3. Google TV is really kind of still stuck in the past. And Google has announced earlier this year that it would update Google TV to the latest version of Android. So it kind of makes sense that rebranding it Android TV, getting it up to date with the latest Android, and kind of putting Google TV, the Google TV brand behind it, because let's face it, it hasn't been the most successful smart TV in the world, might be a good thing. So again, just rumor, just speculation, but I'd be kind of excited to hear about Android TV. So that means we would have both the Chromecast and Android TV kind of for the living room, which would be, Google's 2 choices and their 2, most major brands. So we'll see.
Chromecast TV.
Chromecast TV.
I'm merging the 2.
Are you predicting that?
No,
also?
no. I really think there's still a room for a set-top box that's fully integrated, Android device.
Do you think
but
it matters whether it's called Google TV or Android TV?
No, I think it doesn't, and nobody cares because nobody cares about Google TV. Google TV.
Right.
Android TV makes more sense because it is Android-based.
Well, that's the
probably
thing
what
is
it
if they upgrade it to Jelly Bean or greater, right, then it could run a lot more apps. I mean, that's the thing that I struggle with. I use my Google TV every day, multiple times a day, and I'm probably in the minority here. But that's how we do Netflix because there's lots of different ways to do it. That's how I choose to do it. But you try to get an app on that thing, and you just can't. You can't find any apps that are built for it that run on it. It's still quite a bit buggy. I can't get Amazon Instant Video to recognize it and run on it, even though it's supposed to work. There was this cool product that came out. I forget where exactly. The Arcos TV Connect product. I don't know if you remember that, but it's an Android 4.1 based basically Google TV, but it's running Android 4.1. So it's a full-on version of Android. It connects to your TV. It's got a built-in camera. Really cool thing. It still hasn't come out in the U.S. And this was back in like February. They talked about this, and so I keep checking on it every few months. But I think that if Google does come out with something that runs 4.x, hopefully the latest and greatest 4.3 or KitKat 4.4, and gets it so that you can actually install your favorite apps on the device, I think it'll be great.
Yeah.
Here's hoping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And finally, this isn't really rumory necessarily because this comes straight from the horse's mouth. This came from Google in their developers blog. But essentially, they made a post kind of directed towards developers of apps that are in the SMS realm of things to basically say things are changing when KitKat comes along, and we're going to give you some tools in advance of that announcement so that your app isn't going to get broken. And essentially, the main crux of the change is that before, if you were an SMS app, from what I understand, you didn't have direct access to these SMS commands. You were routing through your app into the messaging app. So that's why, for example, you'd get a notification in both your messaging as well as your SMS replacement app of choice, because they're kind of coming into both, and you'd have to work that out. I guess in KitKat, they're kind of doing away with that and allowing the user to assign one app to be the point of send and receive. So, this is good. A lot of people are kind of speculating this is directly related to the potential merging of Hangouts with SMS functionality. So, yeah.
I think this is a good thing. It's going to create an entire ecosystem of awesome, apps that do both text IM seamlessly, probably way better than anything Apple ever dreamed to do with iMessage, and we win.
I hope so.
Absolutely.
I'm really looking forward to using Hangouts with SMS and not having it be this broken thing. I want to use Hangouts for everything, even though Hangouts is really slow on my Galaxy Nexus, but that's another story. That won't matter in a couple of weeks.
And if they can merge Google Voice into that as well,
oh yeah,
all the
that's
better.
the next step.
Better.
As long as they don't get rid of Google Voice functionality, that's another fear that people have, is like they're going to be so dedicated to this Hangouts SMS thing that they're going to be like, oh well, Google Voice it was fun while it lasted, but
I could see Google Voice becoming an extension of an extension of Hangouts.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
theoretically, it doesn't make any difference, right?
True.
You know, you have the
it
ability
just becomes
to
an extended part of the service. Yeah.
It'd be interesting to
It's a
see
really
how
good
they
point.
can handle that. I mean, it happened with Talk, right? We lost Talk.
Yeah.
Became Hangouts, and some of us kicked and screamed for a short time. That's me. XMPP is a nice open protocol. I really liked it.
Right.
But overall, in the end, it didn't seem to make much of a difference. The only thing that was vexing is that somehow, I don't know if it was just my Nexus, my circumstance, but I lost my entire Google Talk history on my phone.
Oh, really?
It never carried over to my Hangouts.
There was
in any way, shape, or form. I never recovered it. It's gone forever.
Yeah, there was problems with upgrading. When people would upgrade, sometimes it wouldn't work the first time, and they'd have to reboot their phone. I remember a lot of people were complaining that it was not. They would say, yes, I want to go to Hangouts, and then it just wouldn't work.
Yeah.
And in your case, you lost all those messages.
Yeah,
That's
well,
awful. But Google
Now
Voice
the
already...
NSA has them anyway, so I can go back.
That's right. You can just
give
ask
them
them,
a
right?
call. Hey, can you send me back that archive?
Yeah, Can I get a Freedom of Information Act for my messages that you
I
archived
want my
for me?
messages.db for my G-Talk app. Thanks, guys. If you're listening.
Talk to you later.
But I'm really hoping for the voice integration because Google Voice already does SMS. Sometimes I get confused between Hangouts and Voice, which one I'm sending an SMS on.
Oh, right.
Or not Hangouts, but my built-in text messaging.
Right.
So I mean, I hope they just take that extra step and just put it all together in true unified messaging. It would be wonderful.
Yeah. Really looking forward to that.
Agreed.
All right, Gina, we have what is it? No, it's a voicemail.
It's a voicemail.
All right, this is from Lenny from San Juan, and he has a voicemail about contact sync between iOS and Android. This is a question that we kind of get a lot because we have a lot of people that listen to the show that are on iOS that switching to Android or curious to know how you do it. This is a question that he has.
Good afternoon, guys. My name is Lenny. I'm calling from San Juan, Puerto Rico. My question is, I'm going to be making a transfer from iOS 7 to Android because I have an iPhone 4, but I'm going to be acquiring the going to be purchasing the Samsung Galaxy Note 3.
Nice.
The problem is that my iCloud account has been disabled. I'm not able to transfer those contacts very easier. So I need to know if I put the telephone numbers by a manual procedure on Google Contacts, are those contacts going to be synced to the Galaxy Note 3 automatically? So basically, that is my question. I expect that you guys can clarify me my doubt. So thank you for calling my voicemail, and have a good day. Bye-bye.
Boom, there you go.
All right, so yeah, this is a pretty easy one, and I think this is just, you know, when you use iOS, you're kind of not used to this, or I guess iCloud does this a little bit. But the thing is, when you're on Android, all your contacts, you know, whenever I see these commercials and say, oh, you bring your phone in and we'll transfer your contacts for you, I'm always sort of perplexed, like, why do you ever need to do that? Because all your contacts are just in Gmail. They're just in your Google account, which you need to sign into Android anyway. So to transfer your contacts from iOS to Android, connect your iPhone to iTunes and sync your contacts with Google Contacts, and that will upload all your contacts from your iOS device up to your Gmail account, which is where your contacts are stored. And then once you log into your Google account on your Android phone, all those contacts will just sync automatically. They'll just be there when you're there. They'll sync to any Android device that you're on, and any changes that you make to them will also sync as well. So I actually, on my iOS device, I just have it synced to Google, and I've never, you know, really had to do any sort of manual transfer to get my contacts there, because it's all just there in your Google account. You just need a Google account, which you're going to need anyway to sign into your Android device, even if it's the Galaxy Note, and you should be all set.
Yeah, it's pretty seamless. Pretty easy. When I first kind of started to look into this, I was like, I don't know, how do you do that? Turns out it's like probably the easiest thing in the world. So thankfully, you won't have to do it manually, because that would really suck.
Yeah.
To have to do that. But there we go. Awesome. Hope that helps. Let's take a break and thank our first sponsor of today's episode, Ting. Ting is awesome. What is Ting, you might be asking? They are a no BS mobile phone service. Ting is actually an MVNO reseller of the nationwide Sprint network, and they're very different from what you might be used to with your own provider. First of all, they have no contracts or early termination fees. They are truly and completely contract free. They have a new early termination fee relief program, actually. If you're paying an ETF to come to Ting, they've actually got your back. Ting will give you a credit of 25% of your ETF fee, up to $75 per device. Simply purchase your device through Ting, port your number, and then you submit your final bill with your ETF detailed from your previous carrier, and Ting's going to hook you up. They're going to hook you up with 25% of that fee, up to $75 on a device. Pretty sweet stuff, because an ETF is often kind of a big detractor for canceling your contract early. Go to ting.com/ETF for more information on that program. But otherwise, you know, they do a lot of other really cool things. No bundling, no ride-along services. You just choose through their service levels for voice minutes, text messages, and megabytes of data, and it's all billed separately. There's no overage charges or penalties, no add-on charges for all the different things like voicemail, caller ID, tethering, hotspot, all of that extra stuff that would be extra through another service. You're not charged extra for it, so you just get it with your Ting service. There's no mysterious line items on your bill. And unlimited devices on one plan. You can have as many devices as you want. You can share pooled minutes, messages, and megabytes, and each device on a plan costs a flat $6 per month. They actually have a really powerful online account control panel, so you can kind of take a look at your account, your usage, the bills that you've had, and very just kind of all-encompassing, powerful online control panel, and work through it in a very easy way. Excellent customer support, no-hold customer support, in fact, when you call, and just great online support, tutorials at help.ting.com. There's forums there, so you can talk to other members, other users of Ting, and just a really powerful ticketing system, video tutorials, video startup guides, all that kind of stuff to help you with your Ting experience. So first, what you do is you go to the Ting site and you purchase your mobile phone from Ting, mobile device actually, which you're going to receive that in 2 to 5 business days. Then you're going to activate the device with Ting, and you'll have the option to select a new phone number, or if you have one that you don't want to get rid of, you can port an existing one over as well. Ting will break your rates out by minutes, text messages, and megabytes and bill you at the end of the month for what you've used. It's very simple, very straightforward. So here's what you can do if you're interested. Visit Ting today. You go to allaboutandroid.ting.com, and you do that. You're going to save money. You're going to better manage your mobile phone usage with Ting. You can actually check out their savings calculator and dial it in. See how much you or your company can save by using Ting. They make it very easy for you to do so. All About Android viewers will also save $25 on your first Ting device when you sign up. So there you go. Visit allaboutandroid.ting.com. That's allaboutandroid.ting.com. Start saving today. We thank Ting for their support, their continued support of All About Android and the Twit Network. Thank you, folks. All right. Speaking of hardware, let's jump into hardware. All right.
You're not supposed to jump on the hardware.
Jump onto it? Yes.
Oh, jump into hardware.
Definitely
okay.
Don't pull the hardware down when you're getting a napkin off a counter and watch it hit the ground and the display goes.
Remember that Galaxy Nexus.
I know. Never forget.
That's right. Hey,
Never
what's this
forget.
cord under here? Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Guard it with your life.
Now I really feel like its days are numbered, this device right here. Maybe it's not a bad thing if that happens. So real quick here, Samsung, we mentioned last week the Galaxy Round, rumors of the Galaxy Round. And in true fashion, literally a few hours after we ended the show, Samsung went ahead and officially announced it. So there you go. It's for the Korean market right now. Hopefully, or I think they're hoping at some point to open that up. And the differentiator here being the vertical axis curve that we showed off, which is a little bit different, of the 5.7-inch display. It's available in, wait for it, luxury brown.
Luxury brown. Wow.
Luxury turd color.
Yeah.
Brought
Yeah,
to you
two
by
words
Samsung.
that just really don't
as
go well
usual.
together. There we
Slam.
go. Now, one reason for the curve is this tipping notification effect.
Oh,
So
stay on this picture for a second. You see, this is why I'm excited about this. You can put your soy sauce in the middle. It stays there. You can dip your sushi on it.
it needs to be more of a bowl, though. Isn't it just going to run out both sides?
You know that, of course, we're going to get to the LG, which is convex the other way.
Yes.
So I'm waiting for somebody to combine the two.
Yes.
That way you can literally use it as a sushi dipping ball.
This is never, see, you got to differentiate
ultimate
somehow.
design.
So a phone that can also be used as a soy sauce dipping bowl, that I think you're onto something.
Can of wasabi.
Maybe it's a chopstick rest.
Potentially so. It does have, they say, a purpose for being curved, aside from just kind of the ergonomic aspect of it. But one thing is, if it's setting on a tabletop screen up, oh, here's a video of it, and you tap the side, wait for it, wait. Oh, it tells you a little notification.
What?
Seems a little slow to me, though. Like, I like the idea of it, but
Little.
The
takes
thing is,
2
you could
seconds
do
to
this with,
appear.
like, theoretically, you could code the accelerometer on a Moto X, which is curved in the back, to do that and
Yeah.
still do the same thing.
Or
I
even
don't
if
see
it's,
the.
I don't get it
like,
either. Even if it's not curved
about
in the back.
not the front.
Right. You could do the same thing with any phone. Just say, okay, when you go like that, it brings up the time, and when you put it back down, it goes.
I mean, I
away.
can do it with my Galaxy Nexus right now.
See, there you go. Don't drop it.
Oh, I guess
Yeah,
you
be
can't see
careful.
that here. Yes, I don't know if you can get this in the product camera, but I'll show you. It's amazing.
Uh-oh.
Here.
Almost.
This is taking too much setup here. Oh,
Let's see. Let's try different phones.
see? I bet yes. They all do this,
Let's
and
pull
none
this
of them
one
have
out.
a.
See if this
have a-
happens. Can we do this? Oh no, this one doesn't work.
Yeah. Oh, see, that was like the infomercial trying to do it before we solve your problem with a Galaxy Round. That should have been black and white. So there we go. I don't know. Is this intrigue anybody?
No.
I know it doesn't intrigue you.
Well, I'm getting jaded with my old age. I don't. So this is Samsung. They can get away with doing this stuff. I mean, they're just kind of crazy.
Right.
Throw a lot of
They're
different
truly
stuff.
the throw anything and everything up against the wall and see what sticks company, right? I mean,
Basically.
it just feels like they'll try anything.
It's like a dartboard. They're just like, it's stuck.
It's not
that was
hurting
the
them
note.
to do that.
The last time it stuck was the note, though. They really haven't had anything since then.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing is, though, I mean, we'll see how this goes, right? Maybe people will really like this. I don't know, but I mean, you say it doesn't hurt, but they've got to put a product manager on this. They've got to put product marketing teams on this. They've got to put engineers on it. They've got to dedicate resources that they could be dedicating to other cool stuff. I just don't get it. I mean, we'll see. Maybe this will take off like hotcakes. Maybe people will love to rock their phone on the table. I don't know, but it's not me, and I wish they would put their resources into something else.
Well, you may never see this.
I think they should
might just stay in Korea.
That's right.
Resources
That's
into
right.
making one that curves the other way. Segue.
Yeah, that was good. You set it right up. So related, new renders of the officially teased by LG, the LG G Flex, with a super curvy display in the other direction. Tom Merritt on TNT called
Look
it
at this
the
thing.
banana phone.
That's what I was just gonna say.
It really is the banana.
That's great.
Oh my
So
God.
there we go. The other way. I don't
Imagine
know.
that in
Now
your
that-
pocket.
I was going to say, now that looks uncomfortable.
Ouch.
Yeah, what happens when you tip that one? It looks like it really could be a seesaw for like midgets or for tiny little Smurfs or something.
It displays the time in portrait mode, this one, when you tilt it.
Oh, I see. That makes sense. That would make sense. Well, there you go. Curvy displays the next frontier in mobile phones, apparently.
Well, it says it's bendable and unbreakable, though. I mean, are they showing? Is that the way it's going to look, or are they proving to us that is it bent in that view? Like it's normally straight, and they bent it into that shape?
Oh, I don't
Or-
know.
I'm hoping
That
it's
because then
maybe
you-
it's floppy.
I don't know.
Because then you're talking about I would be surprised at that. Then every single component would have to be flexible in that way, right?
Everything
Right,
would have to
right.
shift
The
its size.
battery,
The electronics, everything.
You know what this feels like?
What,
This feels
Chad?
like 3D. It was like that. Some display manufacturers like, listen, we have the technology to bend displays,
Yeah.
so let's build it in because
Yeah.
we can.
Let's
It's
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Let's
It
all
feels like-
push on it at the same time,
it
and
feels
let's
like it's-
create a
yeah.
demand for it that doesn't exist.
every
Well, you know-
display manufacturer realized they could do 3D, so they pushed it.
I mean, I've been following OLED since the late '90s, hoping that this will come about. You know, the future is here with the. Wasn't it the original? What was the Arnold Schwarzenegger that they just remade?
Total Recall.
Total Recall, right? In the original Total Recall, they had like the TV was the window. Remember that? And it was like, oh, that's going to become a reality with OLED. And it's like they finally got OLED like not over the finish line, but like close to the finish line. Like we've got a couple of ways we can do this. We've got a TV and stuff. And now it's like, oh crap, what do we do with it? You know, it's like, okay, we can finally do this technically, but we can't really put it in a window yet because it's way too expensive. And what are you actually going to want to flex? What are you actually going to want to bend, right? And it's like, this is a perfect example. Like, yeah, we can put this technology potentially in a phone, but nobody really wants a floppy phone. So what do you do?
floppy banana.
Floppy watch? And is this about wearables?
Could be.
Well, I think that's in the wearable space, the flexible batteries and displays are going to become pretty significant soon. But I don't know about phones yet.
Yeah. There's a lot of technology that still has to be developed to make this.
Do you guys remember the Motorola Aura?
No.
Google it. It's a phone that had a circular display.
Ooh.
I do. Yes.
Like this.
Oh, yes. I
Kind
remember
of like a
this too.
switchblade, like.
So, you know,
Right.
Yes.
I really thought that was going to be the beginning of more phones with completely circular displays, but that never really happened. Now I want to combine circular with,
Flexible.
flexible and like have a display that's concave, like a lens.
My brain is exploding.
Right?
And by the way, I never want there to be a floppy phone category. That just disturbs me to no end.
Well, it won't break when you drop it.
I guess yes, it's very durable. There we go.
Wow,
There's the
the
Aura.
Aura.
It was very
Yeah.
expensive and beautiful back in the day.
That is, I do remember that. It is, but it never went anywhere. It was like,
No,
it was there and then it was
just
gone.
kind of like, basically, how can we repackage the Razer electronics yet again?
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
My kids have these. I don't know if you've seen them. I think they're fairly new this year. These balls of. They're like the ones. They're like the sticky hands that you throw against the wall, but they're filled with liquid, and you throw them up, and they land, and they go.
And they spread out.
They spread out. Have you seen those? Your kids
I
have
think
those?
I have seen. No, they don't have it, but I think I've seen
We've
them.
got like
Yeah.
5 of them now because the kids love them. They are pretty cool. But soon that's going to be your phone. You're just going to throw your phone up in the air, and it's going to fall, and it's going to, and then you pick it up, and it goes back to its original shape.
That's how you turn it into like alarm clock mode. You go.
That's right.
Spreads out. You see
And it just
what
sticks on the
time it is.
wall next to your bed, and yeah.
I like it. Now that I can get behind.
And that's what we call science.
Yes. Make it so. So what is this news with Amazon and HTC, Gina?
That's interesting.
Yeah, I want a squishy phone from Amazon. Reportedly, Amazon is gearing up to release multiple phones manufactured by HTC. This is according to rumors reported by the Financial Times. The Times claims that a range of phones are in the works. Amazon phones that will be running Fire OS, which is Amazon's Android fork, and at least one is in advanced stages. The phone is set to be released as early as the end of this year, but launch plans have changed before and may be pushed back again until 2014. This is the Project Smith that we talked about, reported on last week, of the few phones that Amazon purportedly has in development. I think this is probably the same devices. Really kind of vague detail here. I don't know. I feel like if they were actually close to launch, we'd probably be hearing more about it. More specifics about it, but I'm excited to see what Amazon does with Android and with Fire OS. I would love to kind of see Amazon just pull out all the stops and pull kind of a Facebook homey, as full out, Amazon version of Android with all the the bells and whistles, and just see what they do with it. I enjoy kind of seeing a big company like that do something with Android that's not a carrier or manufacturer like Samsung. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Would you buy a Fire OS powered phone from Amazon?
No, I wouldn't.
Probably not.
No one's like no. Everyone's like no.
No. I mean, I think to me there's a bigger question, a more interesting question, and is that what can Amazon do in terms? I mean, first of all, my belief is that the Amazon phone, whatever it comes out, is going to be a mid-range device with very much like their tablets are today, right? Like mid-range basically with their own OS. But I think the shtick, and what I'm really excited about, and what I'm really looking forward to, is bundling of data as part of your Prime membership or something, some kind of transparent thing where you don't have to worry, like the WhisperNet taken to the next level, right? Mm-hmm. That is the opportunity, I think, that Amazon has, which I really hope that they push, because that would kind of change the carrier model in the US at least, and potentially eventually in the rest of the world. Because imagine you get this phone and you no longer pay for data per se, like you pay for tiers of data basically. Like, do you want Facebook and Twitter and social networks? Well, you pay $10 a month or $5 a month or whatever. And then, you have, you basically get a basic amount of data with the phone, no matter what, kind of like you do with Kindle. And then you can upgrade from there. And if you can roll that into your Prime membership somehow, so it's completely seamless. I mean, that's going to be really compelling.
Yeah.
And the carriers are going to be scared, Yeah. And then I could see Apple, if it's successful, going, well, this is working. Maybe we should do the same and partner with one of the carriers to do it. And then maybe have a world where when you buy a device, it doesn't really matter what network it's on. It's like basically it shows us the best network based on where it's located. And they have all these brokering deals in the back with all the roaming. So that Amazon just works wherever you're in the world, and you don't have to pay more. That's kind of the future. That's, I think, where this could go, and so that's why I'm excited about it.
Yeah, that's utopia. I think. I mean, I think everyone would love that. I think the carriers are going to fight.
Oh, they're going to fight
super
for
hard
sure.
to make sure they already are, right?
But imagine, so Amazon probably not going to succeed. But if it's successful, if it's a successful enough business model that Apple picks it up, and Apple comes out with a phone that can jump between a Verizon and AT&T network seamlessly, with the same SIM or whatever, imagine that. Like, Apple could go up to AT&T and says, here's $10 billion. We want to be a virtual operator. Can you make this happen? We want, the best service possible. And if that's successful, then they can turn around the next year and say, well, here's 10 billion Verizon. We also want you to be on board. And I mean, if it's been successful for AT&T, I have a hard time seeing what Verizon's going to do. It's the same thing with this T-Mobile thing, where they gave away 2G roaming to the entire customer base. I can't see the other carriers just sitting by and waiting. They're going to have to react to this somehow.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was just going to bring up T-Mobile because they've been doing a lot with that. And they've been doing a lot with, not quite BYOD, but almost, right? I mean, they allow you to bring a lot of your own devices as long as they're compatible with their network and activate them on their network. And so I think if enough people switch and go the T-Mobile route and they start losing customers, you're right, that may drive them to adopt a similar model. So.
It'll be interesting.
All right. I hate to do this. We have breaking news. Boom. Okay, I don't know how newsy this is, but hey, it was an excuse to play the breaking news bumper. So earlier today, of course, we talked about this earlier, how the KitKat Google Plus account put up a little image of KitKat guy dancing. That was the Android guy, and it said, "Everybody dance now." Well, as people do, they picked that apart to no end. Went ahead and Wikipedia'd everybody dance now. That song. CNC Music Factory. I'm happy you didn't see me when I sang that. Yes, I'm sorry. Everybody now has it stuck in their head. That's my fault. My bad.
Anyway.
Sorry. Anyways, it turns out that Everybody Dance Now, the song by CNC Music Factory, was released on October 18th.
1990, by the way. How old
That's a
are we?
Friday.
1990, yes.
You don't have to remind us, Gina. I was happy not
Sorry.
remembering when that came out. It was just a few years ago, right?
So, does a big release happen on Friday?
Oh, thank you,
Thanks, Chad.
Chad.
And don't you have to be like this?
Okay. Yeah. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. With every downbeat, with every boom, I'm feeling Friday.
Yeah, this is definitely happening. Definitely happening.
I'm happy we didn't
Yeah,
start breakdancing
absolutely.
on the table.
You should have.
It wouldn't.
I know you would have.
If Leo hadn't already sat on it and broken it, then I would have. Thank you, Chad, by the way, for the
You're welcome.
strobes and all that.
That was awesome.
So there we go. What do we think? Credible
Yes.
or total coincidence?
Credible. It's Google.
Totally
They
With
can do
Google,
something
it's
on a
credible.
Friday.
If it was anybody else, it would be like, you guys are crazy. But with Google, yeah,
Now-
it's probably
Yeah.
true.
This didn't come from Google though. KitKat. It came from the KitKat Google Plus, which I believe is the candy bar Google Plus. So change it.
Wait. What do you mean? This is the official KitKat page, is it not? This is
I
wrong,
thought
right-
it was the
right
candy
Google.
bar KitKat page.
Ah.
Am I wrong? I could be wrong. I thought I looked at it in a bit of
From
Yeah,
a
I'll-
post.
I'll-
Yeah,
over at
it's
KitKat.
got the Android.
It's KitKat.
Goes to KitKat.com, it's
That's-
about
that's-
thing, which is a
KitKat.com.
red page of.
Is this a government
minute.
page?
Oh.
Okay, so this is.
I thought this was a U.S. government
This is
page.
candy
Kit
bar page,
Nestle
right?
KitKat.
No.
4.4.
Okay.
4.4.
I'm
This is the
so
Android thing.
confused.
What is this?
Seriously, no. This is.
I've never
this is
been to
the-
this
This is
page.
the candy bar page because they
This
did
is
their whole.
Candy bar is
the Android
cloud-based?
page.
They did their whole like mock gadget commercial
This
based
is-
around the candy bar.
This is
It
sacrilege.
gets so confusing. I know. I'm so confused.
Yeah, I think this whole KitKat Android thing is a complete mystery to me. How did that ever happen?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
apparently there's no royalties or whatever, no money was exchanged. It's like I really swear, like this is totally Google. They're totally messing with our heads right now.
Completely messing with our heads.
Like we're getting totally taken on a trip here. Let's enjoy it.
I think Jason's right. I think this is the Nestle.
It's the candy
yeah.
bar Google
It's the
Plus
Nestle,
page.
but look, did you see that intro page? That was all about Android.
Oh, I know,
Yeah.
but
no, but if you looked, here, sorry, I need to go back. If you looked, it said at the top that it was is Nestle. I may have cropped it off. Look up here once it
Yeah,
loads
no,
in.
I
This is
saw it. I
slow.
saw
for
it.
their promotional stuff.
It's pretty amazing.
You know, there
I
were.
would assume that the candy company owns KitKat.com, but this is kind of amazing that Google got them to,
Yeah.
basically rewrite KitKat.com to not be about the candy bar, but to be about Android. I mean, this is about sort of Android. Well, I guess it's kind of both, isn't it?
It's really both. I mean, basically what they're doing is they're marketing KitKat the candy bar as they would a technology
Right.
product.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the
I wouldn't be
irony of
surprised
it
if
all.
Google wrote this for them. You know,
Yeah,
when we say no money exchange chance, that doesn't mean that they didn't like, here, we'll just rewrite this website for you and take a look. Isn't this cool? You know, and they're like, ooh, yeah, that's sweet. We'll put that up.
Yeah, the no money changed hands. I mean, Kevin Purdy, my friend Kevin, was saying to me, plenty of money changed hands. Plenty of lawyers were paid, and marketing people were paid, and graphic designers were paid. I mean, Nestle and Google didn't pay one another, but lots of people got paid to make this happen, obviously.
But there's a ton of Android stuff on that KitKat page.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
that's their current marketing push.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about.
I hadn't been here before, but it's all about Android. Oh, ooh.
Weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
That just kind of happened and flew right by me. I didn't even catch it. All right. Well, anyways, maybe this Friday, but we'll see. Not really news, but fun regardless. Miriam.
Yes.
You have a device.
I do not.
And apparently
You lie.
It's gigantic. It's the biggest phone that I think I've ever
fits in my
seen.
pants. Here it is. Wait. Hide your children. Okay. Are they gone? All right. Is it safe?
It's safe.
Boom!
Oh my
In
God.
your face. Look at this. It's bigger than my head.
It's in your face. It's bigger than your face.
This is the HTC One Max. And you know what? Does anybody have an HTC One? Because I didn't bring one.
Oh, there it is.
like in the studio. Chad, do we have one anywhere? Anyone?
What is the other?
Because
think
I
we
want to.
do.
I need to put it next to it so you can
Yeah,
see
I don't
how
know if we have one here.
redonkulously big this is.
Leo may have one.
Do we have an HTC One? It's coming. It's coming.
Okay.
So what
We'll
is it?
talk
A
about it
6-inch?
when it
6-inch
So,
display?
so I was in
does.
in London last week, where HTC has a little gathering twice a year of like like they handpick some media to talk, to show them under NDA the new stuff, and so we all got these under NDA for about 5 days before we were allowed to write reviews, and in exchange they get our feedback and whatever, and of course our feedback on this wasn't so great. So you're going to say ultimately, yeah, why not? It's it's HTC One scaled up, taken to the max, as it were. Why would it be wrong? Because the HTC One is a pretty awesome phone. The problem is this is one prime example of a device that the design just doesn't scale well. The HTC One Mini scaled down really nicely, but this just doesn't scale up. It's 5.9 inches across, and there you go. And if you add to the bezel around that, it really feels bulky. It's not very thick, but it's wide and tall and feels bulky in hand. It's pretty heavy too. But it has all of the things we love about the HTC One. It has the boom sound stereo speakers. You want me to hold this and the product camera or something? Is that working? There we go.
There you go.
So let me just
Galaxy Nexus HTC One Max.
looks like
That'll give you a
it
little
looks
bit
like an
of scale.
iPhone next to it, right?
That'll give you a little scale.
So basically, it has the boom sound speakers top and bottom. It has a 2-megapixel front-facing wide-angle camera that everybody's familiar with. And in the back, what's very different is that it's got this fingerprint reader. And unlike the iPhone, where you just hold, this is one of those swipey things. And depending on which angle you digitize your finger at, it won't really respond if you do a different angle. Oh. So it's a little bit unintuitive. If you want to, I don't have it set up right now. But if you want to unlock it, it's kind of cumbersome. I don't really like what I've done here. It's basically turned into a gimmick instead of something useful. I mean, now that Apple's done it right, it's impossible to go back, right? Like you have to do it right if you're going to implement this, right? And so they kind of screwed that up. So it's a bit bulky. The fingerprint reader's a gimmick. Everything else about it, though, is HTC One. They've added, it's Sense 5.5. There's a bunch of new features. You guys can watch my video review and all the other reviews out there to get more of the details. But here are a couple of things that I think are significant. They removed OIS from the camera back here. So the HTC One of the great things about Ultra Pixel is that you get less pixels, but you now have great stability in low light because of optical image stabilization. But they took that out, just like on the Mini. So it means that, you kind of lose the advantage of this great camera module in some ways. I mean, it still gathers more light, but you have to not shake, and for video you lose that too.
On tiny little mobile devices, that's next to impossible.
Right, exactly. So that's one drawback. The other drawback is that it loses, so one of the great things about the HTC One is that, there's no seam. Everything has been machined in one piece because it's unibody. This thing opens up, like the HTC One for China. Let me show you. You go like this, and you can remove the battery cover. And here you have a micro SD card, which is great. You're going to say,
good.
awesome, micro SD. But look, the battery isn't removable. So why? I mean, the only thing is the SIM and micro SD. And it brings the drawback of, it's really hard to close this properly. And even when you do, you now have these seams. It doesn't feel as premium anymore as an HTC One. So yes, you gain micro SD. Yes, you gain the size. But you lose some on the design. You lose the OIS. The battery life is really great, though. It's 3,300 milliamp hour. That's
good.
And also the other thing they didn't do is they didn't upgrade the processor. It's just a Snapdragon 600 at 1.7 gigahertz. They could have put an 800 in there. The 800 is very power efficient. So you know, a lot of people are scratching their heads going, what is this? Like, it's not a flagship, obviously. It's not as good in some ways as the One. Why is it so big? Like, why, and why? And we didn't really get answers from HTC. So there you have it, really.
A security feature that doesn't work 100% of the time the way it should.
It's more like 75 right now. Which
yeah, but
is
still, that's not enough.
Not good enough.
I mean, it's the same as face unlock, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
It's like,
basically,
it's cool if it works every time, but it doesn't.
When,
So I
when
would
your
never
kids
use
can
it.
unlock your phone for you, it's kind of like, okay, either we look really alike or this just isn't working very well.
Here's what I think. If they made this 5.5 inches with the same amount of bezel, it would be more manageable. If it had Snapdragon 800, it would be a compelling upgrade. Remove the fingerprint reader and keep the OIS in there. Maybe have a micro SD as another one of those little doors on the side, like the original One had. You know, one of those you stick your little paper clip in there, and then you would have had a compelling choice. I think something that could have competed with the Note 3. The other thing is there's no interface changes whatsoever done to accommodate the larger screen size. You know, whereas the Note has like the stylus and all these apps installed that really help you take advantage of that screen size. So that's kind of my take on that. It's a bit disappointing. I think that, especially HTC not being in the best of places right now, I just kind of question why they did this. I would still recommend the One over this. And, you know, I don't know. We'll see how they goes. I mean, I don't think they really want to market this to the US. I mean, they're only making it available on Verizon and Sprint, not even AT&T and T-Mobile. They told us that they kind of are targeting mostly the Asian markets where those large phones are very popular with women, apparently. So, but when you consider it, I don't know. Maybe you can Google a picture of the HTC One Max next to a Note. I believe Engadget, their review, had that, and you'll see the Note 3 is 5.7 inches, and this is 5.9, and yet the difference in size is tremendous because there's so little bezel on the Note.
Wow.
And that's ultimately, I think, the downfall of this device.
Yeah, it's something else seeing that device in person.
Right? It's like, that's what I told you. Like, hide your children. It's just
and
like,
I'm not sure if it's the kind of thing where, you know, when phones started getting larger and we were just used to iPhone-sized devices, anything larger than that felt big at first, and then eventually it felt normal.
Right.
And so I'm not sure if like a year from now I'm going to feel like that feels normal. Something tells me no. Like that just kind of feels outside the boundary of normal.
Yeah, I think it feels
for me anyway.
It feels a little old-fashioned in a weird way, despite the design of the One being so fresh.
Yeah,
it just doesn't scale up. It's like there's
interesting.
too much bezel. It's just too bulky.
You can kind of understand the desire for HTC to do that because they felt like they have a win with HTC One, and they really need to push their place in the marketplace. So, well, if this works, then of course it's going to work bigger. It's interesting that it doesn't.
But it's
so well.
interesting to me, like, you know, they asked us for our feedback after giving us the phones. They should have asked for our feedback 6-9 months ago when they were planning this, and we totally would have told them 5.5 inches, Snapdragon 800, keep the OIS, which is really the killer feature about the Ultra Pixels camera. And, you know, Nokia and even the G2 that has OIS have really proven that it works, and it's really a must-have feature. I mean, the Nexus 5 is rumored to have it. And even Samsung has announced that they have a new sensor coming that has it for the next gen. The Note 3, I was really surprised didn't have OIS. But
there we go. There's the comparisons.
Yeah,
the
so that's from my video. But, you know, that's the One Mini there. And you can see the One and One Mini
they're so close.
They're very close.
Yeah.
Very close. But this is massive.
Yeah.
Massive.
Oh,
This is
there
a
you go.
Google Play edition of the One, by the way. If you're going to get an HTC One, that's the one to get.
That's one you have, Gina, right? Yeah.
It's pretty damn
Google edition.
awesome, isn't it? Yeah,
It is. It is a great phone. I love it.
I love it too.
And then how about price? Do we know the price comparison?
You know, they didn't give us pricing, but I've read today that in the UK, unlocked it's £600.
Right.
Which is ridiculous.
Right.
So it means like what, 750
It's
US?
like 750, 800 in the US.
I mean,
yeah.
you know, you can't do the conversion; it doesn't scale.
Right,
but
right.
approximately should be, But I really don't see anyone buying this off contract. You know, and you're not going to get a version that works in the US with LTE on AT&T and T-Mobile anyway. So, I mean, this has LTE; it's a European model. I've got an AT&T SIM in there, and I only get HSPA plus. So.
Sure.
And what's the Galaxy Note 3 running these days?
I don't know,
Anybody know?
650-ish, 7.
So they're in the same ballpark
But
in terms
I mean,
of price. 703 on
okay, so
on
that's a bit
T-Mobile.
more than I thought.
703 on.
But
So that's in the same ballpark though, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we'll see if the carriers discount it, because the carriers have the ability to discount it a little bit. But
I mean, look, my takeaway here is
$749.99.
honestly, if you're looking for a large device right now, like something this very big, look at the Z Ultra from Sony. It's so much sexier, or honestly, the winner still. And I think kudos to Samsung for having created this category and completely obliterating everyone else in it. The Note 3 really is awesome. I'm not a huge Samsung person, but they've done something truly special with the Note 3. So
Interesting.
That's where I would go. But if you want a mid-range, not a mid-range, but a normal size, like a super phone, I think it's somewhere between the G2, the HTC One, and then the upcoming Nexus 5, I think, right now.
Awesome. Well, thank you for the review. HTC One Max sounds like a no-go. If it were on before you buy, I'm imagining you'd say don't buy.
No, honestly, I don't really see any reason to buy this right now. Spend that
Sounds
kind of
that
money on an HTC One and just forget the large screen for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
You're better off.
Yep. Awesome. Well, let's take a break and then get right into the arena. This episode is also brought to you by 99 Designs, which is just a fantastic situation for folks who are looking for good graphic designs for whatever you happen to be working on. If you're looking for a graphic designer and you don't have the graphic design skills, that's what 99 Designs is all about. They connect people looking for great graphic design with a community of more than 225,000 graphic designers from all over the world. Whether you need a new logo, mobile app, business card, t-shirt, any kind of graphic design, you're going to find the right designer for your project at 99 Designs. Here's how it works. You tell 99 Designs what you need. Dozens of designers from their community are going to submit designs created just for you. You'll give the designers your feedback to help them refine their designs and then select and pay for your favorites. So you're going to get just a bunch of ideas and options, and you can help them refine it and really kind of dial it in to be something that works for your project. If you're developing an Android app, actually, this is the perfect way to go. You might have a great idea for an app, but not know how to handle the design aspect of that. Use 99 Designs. You can get anything from icons to buttons for your entire mobile app. Designed at 99 Designs, or the entire app, pretty much, the entire user interface. It's pretty simple. So, I mean, there's just a ton of really great app designs that you can take a look at on the 99 Designs website. So be sure to check that out. It's 99designs.com/mobile-app-design. And Chad's been kind of showing off a few of the options here. It's really cool stuff. You can start your next graphic design project for as low as $199. It's pretty easy. Visit 99designs.com/AAA. You're going to get a $99 power pack of services for free. Now, a power pack gives you more designer time and attention. 99 Designs will bold, highlight, and feature your design project in 99 Designs Marketplace, and you'll get nearly twice as many designs as a result. So visit 99designs.com/AAA and take a look. See what you think, and post your project up there and get some really cool designs coming back for whatever you happen to be working on. And we thank 99 Designs, there we go, for your continued support of All About Android. Really appreciate it, and I think the service is just fantastic. There you go. All right, without further ado, it's arena time.
So many enter, but only one lives. Android Arena.
Woo! Okay, so last week we had a few apps. Tapatalk was not getting a lot of good news, good press this last week, so I'm not surprised that it came last. Yahoo Weather ended up beating the competition with 40% of the votes. Find It, Gina, that was your app, came second with 34%. And then...
decent showing.
Yeah, no, great showing there. And then Tapatalk right behind at 26%. So there you have it. I'm the loser. That means I go first. So, so the app that I have this week, and I'm going to show it off here through MHL. Let me get rid of some of that stuff. Okay, so what do we have here? We have an app called Aviate, and this is actually a beta app right now. It's been in alpha mode with very limited invites up until it's kind of this morning where suddenly it was really unveiled, and I started to see a lot of articles being released with specific invite codes, and most of those invite codes I think have all kind of dried up. But it's a replacement home launcher, and I've really gotten out of the home launcher thing on my own device just because I'm so kind of locked in and used to the AOSP launcher, the traditional Android launcher. But I wanted to give this a test shot. Of course, I replaced this image. It doesn't automatically have the Android KitKat thing there, but I had to put something there. But it's interesting. So what Aviate attempts to do, and I haven't had it installed long enough to really see the benefits of this over time. I know if you have it installed more than a couple of days, it really starts to kind of dial things in. But it's the kind of app that tries to predict exactly what you're going to need at any given point, right? It knows when you're at work, it knows when you're at home, and it offers up things. We've heard about launchers that do this, but this is actually designed in a very attractive way. You can see over here, I have these different collections, right? Collections, work collection that has all the different apps that I might need at work when I'm there, social, and you can kind of modify these. If I click the gear up here, you can see that I have all of these other categories that I can filter into there based on what I want to appear on that side. But, what? Sorry? Oh, sorry. I thought you were saying something, Chad.
I was choking back there.
Oh, apologies if you're choking and all I said was sorry. There you go. Okay, so you have all these kind of quick launches, quick launch icons into your apps. There is no app tray in this launcher. It's pretty much just right over there. If you keep going, you get your app tray for the most part, but and you can use the side to scan down. So I guess it's an app tray, but it's not an app tray in the traditional sense that you're used to seeing. But it's pleasing to the eye nonetheless. You've got your kind of alphabet letters on the side to give you a quick glance of where you're at if you just want access to everything and you don't want them grouped. If I tap up at the top, you'll see I get a little bit of extra stuff. It's seeing me at home right now. I haven't really done a whole lot to dial this in and let it know that I'm at work versus at home, but it's giving me options for when I'm at home, what I might want, what I might be interested in. Do I want to set an alarm, set it for do not disturb, weather, all that kind of stuff. We'll swipe that back. If I go over here, you can see some of the different things. It shows my location right now as Twit Brick House Studios, which it would be correct. And it does kind of a good way. It's a good way to kind of get tips about where you might be. There's all these different tips that are imported. It has the Twitter address here, and just some pictures that get imported all automatically. So I imagine you're at a different location. You want to find out more about the location that you're in. You can easily just swipe over there and take a look at it.
So can I ask? It says check in. Is that Google? Is that going through Google or Foursquare? Or
if
or
it's
maybe
going through anything, because I never use Foursquare.
Okay.
Here, I'll go ahead and check in.
Well, I hate to
I don't care.
jump into your demo here.
I'll
Maybe
check
it gives
in.
you
Let's
an
see
option.
what it takes you to.
Play Store. What?
Oh, it does take the Foursquare.
Oh, okay.
So apparently it's
So it's trying to run Foursquare. It couldn't find it. It pushed you to the Play Store.
Right, because I never use Foursquare.
Right. Got it. Sorry to
no, not at all.
you. I was just curious.
Not at all. And yeah, let's see. Post. Okay. So it gives you the options to post to your different social networks. So there you have it. I mean, there's a lot more for me to obviously dial into. If I go to traffic, going somewhere, if I'm on my way somewhere, that's going to take me into maps and give me immediately an indication as far as what the traffic layout is in Petaluma right now. Some kind of nifty features, and actually the design of it kind of has a cards / Google Now style to it. So it's pretty pleasing to the eye if that's something that you're passionate about and that you really like about Android these days. You're going to get it. Obviously, on this main screen, you have your essentials, the apps down at the bottom, so you can automatically just jump right into your most used apps down there. So it's called Aviate. It's in beta right now. It's free and it's invite only. So I guess this is more like a preview if you aren't already using it. Kind of interesting stuff. We're seeing more of these launchers that really kind of change entirely what you're used to seeing in Android, and I love seeing that. For me personally, it'd be hard for me to use this 100% of the time.
Yeah.
But as far as the launchers that I've had recent experience with, I really like the look of this, and I like what it's attempting to do. If it's pulling in kind of some of the magic that you feel when you use Google Now, and it's kind of integrating that into the launcher, I think that's fantastic. If it does it well over time, then it's even better. And I've heard from some people that have been using it for a week, 2 weeks on the alpha channel that it does that very well the more you use it.
That's
so
cool.
I'll
Does
be
it have a
curious to see
dark
where-
theme by any chance? Do you know?
I didn't see a dark
That's
theme,
the
to
one
be
thing
honest.
that's standing out to me. I mean, I like white. It's okay, but I mean, I'd rather have something that saves a little bit on the battery.
Oh, yes, it
and-
does.
Oh, cool.
Go ahead and take that, Chad. We'll go ahead and go in the dark theme.
I want to see this.
The dark
Boom.
side.
Ooh, I
There you
like
go.
that a lot better.
Darkness.
That's cool.
Cool.
I may have to check this out.
So there you go. Oh, yeah.
Right
Nice.
on.
Nice. Good spot. So there you go. There you have it. Aviate. And check it out. I would imagine eventually this will not be invite only, and hopefully very soon. So there you go. All right. Aaron, what you got?
So I have an app that I've been meaning to try for a long time. And, you know, sometimes you get to an app on the marketplace and you want to try it out, but it's a little too expensive. And you're like, I don't know. I don't really want to pay that much for this particular app. Well, something got me to bite the bullet today. And I'll tell you about that at the end. I'll tease you with that. Why I bought this. It's kind of an expensive app. It's called Ticket to Ride. And if you're familiar with the board game, this is a board game by I forget who the maker is of the board game. It should tell us. Oh, Days of Wonder. It's a really cool board game. If you haven't, it's very easy to learn, but there's a lot of strategy involved. Basically, you're building railroads. There's a map of the U.S. and they have different maps, and I'll get into that in just a minute. You're basically trying to build routes between two cities. So you might get a card that says, "Hey, you got to build a train from Chicago to Miami," and then you get a certain number of points for that. So let me give you a little. So first of all, if you play the board game, you're going to like the app. I'll tell you that right now. So let me just kind of show you what this looks like, and you're going to have to zoom in a little bit, Chad, because this has really small text. So that's one of the things I don't like about it is the text is really small. I'll try not to get too much glare there.
Yeah, it really is.
It really is. It's really built for tablets.
Yeah.
So that's first and foremost. That's what you see. But the app itself is pretty cool. You can they let you buy more boards if you want to do the Europe map and you play the Europe map. You can do that. So they've got those options, which is nice for people that may reside outside of the U.S. And then you can pick the amount of players and you can say, do I want to play solo or do I want to play online with other people? Or do I want to pass and play, which might be kind of fun with a tablet. So I'll go ahead and click play here, and it'll come up. And you'll see right away they've done a pretty good job with the interface. Besides it being so small, they've done a pretty good job with it. The map is there. It's dealing out the cards. And basically the way you play is you've got these routes at the bottom that you've got to make. So you need to make a choice. Which ones do I want to do? I want to do this one and this one. And you got to pick two. And then you start getting these cards. Every turn you get two cards. And then you've got to match up the colors with the various routes. You can zoom in on this screen, which is kind of nice. So if it is too small for you, you can kind of zoom in and zoom out. And then you play. I'm not going to go into all the rules, but you play basically like you would Ticket to Ride. And so it's kind of cool if you're itching to play Ticket to Ride like me, but your family is just completely worn out in the game and they won't even talk to you if you mention the words Ticket to Ride. Right. So that would be a great app to pick up. Now, here's the cool thing. I mentioned it was kind of expensive. It's $6.99 in the Play Store, which to me
$699.
$699
I didn't know that was possible.
and 99 cents. No, it's $6.99 in the App Store. Kind of expensive, but today, through the magic of Humble Bundle, you can buy this as part of the Humble Bundle 7, I think.
For $7.99.
I like to support Humble Bundle. Sometimes I pay more. I paid $7 today for all 6 games or whatever it is that comes on Humble Bundle. And so I got this basically for the same price as I would have gotten it if I paid for it through the store.
Yep.
But I got this, I got Worms, I got all kinds of great games. And usually Humble Bundle, if you know them, they come along and add a few extra games later if you get more than the average price. I love Humble Bundle. And so when I saw this, I had to scoop it up. So if you're watching this live and you want to get this game, go to Humble Bundle right now and grab it. Or if you're watching this, usually Humble Bundles stay around for like a week or 14 days or something. So if you're watching this shortly after it airs,
There's 13 days left.
13 days left. So I was right, 14 days total. So go get this game right now. It's a great deal. If you like the board game, you're going to love playing this on a tablet. You're not going to like it so much on the phone because the font is so small. So Ticket to Ride.
Ticket to Ride.
I know.
Sorry.
You have to sing the song if you
have to. All right, cool. Ticket to Ride, $6.99, or with the Humble Bundle and get a bunch of bundled other things.
Highly recommend.
Awesome. Always love the Humble Bundle. Okay, Miriam, what you got?
I'm gonna pimp some Pebble stuff because I kind of have to.
Excellent.
So here's my Pebble. I don't know if we'll be able to turn on the overhead cam or whatever. Wait.
There we go. There we go.
That's better. So here's my Pebble, and here's my my Galaxy Nexus that's paired with. Is that good? All right. So I'm gonna show you an app for Pebble. It's actually an Android app you can get on the Play Store called Canvas for Pebble. And what it does is it's one part app on the watch and one part companion app on Android. And it's one of my favorite because I'll show you right now. There it is. And what it lets you do is design watch faces right here in the app and send them to the Pebble. Sweet. So for example, right now I've got one that shows the weather and the temperature and all that. I don't know if you can see at the bottom here, it has the date and then the battery life of my phone right now. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to send another watch. So there's some presets. The one I'm using right now is this one right here, the weather one. And so let's, for example, send this one over. Now, as you can see here, I can like rearrange some of the elements. I need to hold the phone for that. Like you see, I can just move this down a little bit, and then I can send it out. And there it is. And as you can see, including my horrible placing of the 5. But let me fix that. And there we go. So nice. You can dynamically create these watch faces. For example, another one that is really useful is this one. And it has like number of text messages, emails, your battery life, a bunch of other stuff displayed. And here's what's really cool in the app. You can just add another layer. So you can add another thing to it. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to not save. But here at the very bottom, you can hit this plus button. And I guess right here, I can now create my own layout, So you can like create your own watch face from scratch based on these little icons. And it's a lot easier than actually getting specific watch faces for Pebble from other locations on the web. Right now, we don't have an app store and we're working on that. But the only way you can get apps to your watch is either through a bunch of websites that have a whole bunch of Pebble watch faces you can download, like there's My Pebble Face is one of them. But this app kind of gives you the ability to create your own custom face very, very quickly by downloading a single APK basically from the Play Store. So it's an Android exclusive in the sense that there's nothing quite equivalent like this yet for iOS. There are some iOS apps out there for Pebble as well, but of course they have to go through our agreement with Apple for the app, right? Because they need to be approved. So there's more of an ecosystem of these kind of partnership apps on Android right now. So there you go. That's kind of what I want to show you. It's free. It's called Canvas for Pebble. And if you have a Pebble watch, check it out. It's pretty awesome.
You can just kind of build the watch face from scratch. And did you say that there will be some sort of way for people to show off kind of the things that they've created?
I'm not sure if Pebble Canvas right now has that ability to or even exchange the designs, because it's kind of very meta, right? What you're looking at is a real-time app that creates a layout that's pushed to an app running on the watch, whereas traditionally for Pebble you push an app that's the new watch face.
Right.
So they're kind of circumventing that in a way, creating kind of an ecosystem of ways to create your watch. But why not? That's what Pebble is all about. We want people to be experimenting with stuff and hack away and use our SDK to do really cool stuff.
Yep. Awesome.
So it's definitely one of the more interesting ones I've come across. There's many others. There's like a camera trigger app. There is a bunch of health monitoring, like pedometer and type stuff. There's what I encourage you to do is, if you are using a Pebble and you're just right now using the default app that came with it, go to the Play Store, since you're all Android users, and type Pebble in the Play Store, and you'll come with a whole bunch of downloadable APKs that either bundle a watch face that it just sends to the watch and does nothing else, or has this kind of pairing of the companion app with the watch that does cool stuff.
That's really cool. I mean, I know that Gina and I and Mike Elgin were talking about this the other day about watches, right? And we were saying that, we were all kind of looking forward to Google Watch because you'd be able to customize it hopefully a little bit. But it exists right now with Pebble. So we should have mentioned that too. Pebble, you can customize the heck out of it. So, that's another thing. Because we were talking about the gear and we were saying basically that's why it sucked. So yeah, you go Pebble and maybe the Google Watch if it ever comes out. You go customize these things. I think it's great.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, the thing for us that is we want to keep it as simple as possible. You know, that's why this doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles. I mean, it's waterproof to like something 150 feet, sure you can swim with it. So it opens up an entire ecosystem of apps around swimming, surfing, etc. And there's a few of them in the store. And then, of course, you know, it lasts about a week on a battery charge, which is, you know, you kind of don't have to really worry about it. That's what we like, you know, what we're kind of thriving for to
That's
continue.
pretty
doing.
important.
Yep.
Awesome.
Pretty important for
Really
something
important.
you wear on your wrist, for sure. Awesome. So that is Canvas for Pebble. Check that out in the Play Store. And then finally, Gina, I have your app installed on this. What is it? It's the 2013 Galaxy Note 10.1. So
Awesome.
I literally just installed it during the show. So I have the settings screen up. So go ahead and talk about it, and I can walk through it with you.
Cool. So my app pick this week is Chronus Home and Lock Screen Widget. That's CHRO and RRONUS. And it's a really kind of simple home screen and lock screen widget. It's basically like a more fully featured clock that includes weather and includes alarms and includes your calendar, and you can customize it however you want. So imagine the default Android Jelly Bean, you know, time widget, but with a bunch of other personalized information in it. And it's completely customizable. What I like about this app is that it actually comes from CyanogenMod. The developer had originally built it for a CyanogenMod. It was the clock widget for Cyanogen, and the developer has unbundled it from Cyanogen and is now offering it in the Play Store. There's a free version. That's the one I'm using. There's a premium version which offers a few extra features. And it's just a super, super customizable widget. So you can see Jason's going through the settings area there. I mean, you can select between analog or digital clock panel. You can customize the look and feel. You can say make the hour bold or the minutes bold or neither. You can show your alarm or not. The weather panel can use Yahoo Weather, use color or monochrome. I mean, basically, if you want to make the widget that you look at on your home screen or your lock screen absolutely custom, exactly what you want, this is the one for you. I really like that you can integrate your calendar, and and by default it's transparent, so it looks really, really nice. You see your wallpaper. It looks like all new, kind of the new Android design. I really like that it'll show you your calendar, and you can scroll up and down in your calendar events. If you tap on an event, it'll launch your default calendar on that event, which is really nice. So it's kind of an easy way to look at your lock screen. I have it on my lock screen, although you can use it on your home screen, and say, you know, what do I got coming up? What's the weather like? And, you know, do I have any alarms that are going to go off soon? So it's support for Android 4.1 and later. And, of course, you can only add it to the lock screen on Android 4.2 or both. And it is just a widget. So once you install it, you have to either add it to your lock screen or your home screen, and then you can tap it to set it up and really kind of customize it from your heart's content. As you can see, Jason's going to town there. Yeah, and it looks really nice. It looks, there you go. You added your calendar there, so you can see upcoming events, and you can scroll that as well. So yeah, I think I'm going to replace the default clock widget with this with this widget on my lock screen. And it's neat. It's kind of neat to see the Cyanogen apps kind of become available in the Play Store for everyone. I mean, I don't like to see sort of fissures in the community, and I don't know if that was I don't know if this was like that camera app situation where the developer said, "Oh, you guys became a company," and I don't know about any of the politics or if there was any drama. I'm just happy that it's available in the Play Store, and you know, you get this sort of highly customizable Cyanogen mod experience, but available to anyone, even if you're not running Cyanogen. So that's Chronus Home and Lock Screen widget, and it's free. And like I said, there's a premium version that lets you customize tap actions for weather and the clock and things like that.
Yep.
Awesome.
I'm running it on my phone. I have been since it came out. It was my second choice for an app. So Gina, you got my second pick. I love it. And
I got your number.
Yeah, I've been using it. I've been using it since it came out, and I'm really happy with it. It works really well. I'm not trying to pump up your app too much. I mean, Ticket to Ride's a really fun game. You should totally vote for it. But yeah, Chronos is pretty cool. So
awesome.
Right
Chronus. So we have some pretty great apps in the arena this week, as usual. Aviate, Ticket to Ride, Canvas for Pebble, and Chronus Home and Lock Screen widget. Make your voice heard, because if you don't vote, you can't complain. AAApoll.com/131 is the place to go. AAApoll.com/131 for episode 131. And of course, early results are in. Chronus seems to be taking an early lead
Look at that.
at 42%. As we know, we cannot trust this early report, and it often changes wildly by the time we get to next week. So,
What's with the Comic Sans going on there?
this says straw poll. I think it's meant to be ironic.
Oh, I hope so.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I would guess so. Dan Dirks, actually, a big fan of the Twit Network, created straw poll for us, and we use it. I have to imagine Comic Sans is used ironically.
I don't know if that wasn't actually Comic Sans, but
it's close.
It's close.
It's kind of Comic
I just had
Sansy.
to be a shithead.
It made me laugh.
It's comic-y and Sansy. So next week we're welcoming back Ron Amadio of Ars Technica. Very excited to have him back. But I gotta say, this was a fantastic episode. Thank you all for stopping in and
Thank you for having me.
talking
again.
Android.
Yeah.
So Miriam, what you got going on these days?
So I'm the product evangelist at Pebble, but I'm on the side still blogging and podcasting and trying to get invited to a few podcasts here and there. You're doing a pretty good job with that today, Jason. 2 out of 2.
Yeah.
2 out of 3.
Someday we'll get you on every single show.
Yeah, so I'm doing that. My blog that was kind of hibernating while I was at Engadget that I started years ago that was pretty successful back in the day is kind of back on. I mean, I did a quick video review of that HTC One Max. I mean, any chance that I get a device, I will try to write about it, time permitting. Obviously, I'm pretty busy with my main gig now. But, this Chromebook that I have right here, for example, just came out last week. Many people reviewed it. It's the 11-inch HP, and it seems pretty nice. This is actually my first time using it right here on the show. So I'll probably write something about that. The shtick is that it charges over standard micro USB.
I'm curious to know how slow it charges.
Actually, you know what? So far, I haven't found a single charger in my house that will charge it at full speed. Other than the charger that came with it.
Of course.
Every single one that I've plugged in, computers, Apple chargers, Samsung chargers, anything I've tried, it just says not enough power to, it has that note warning. So I think it's kind of a gimmick, really. I also need to research. The connector looks awfully like MHL to me. And since there's no other outputs on this, and some Chromebooks like the Samsung ARM-based, this is ARM-based, the Samsung ARM-based had HDMI or some kind of video output. I'm wondering if this is basically a double-duty connector. USB host or USB on the go,
Right.
charge, and MHL. It'll
Yeah.
be interesting to find out. So we'll have to try that with your MHL adapter right after the show.
Fantastic. Let's do it. We'll check it out. Miriam, thank you as always.
Thanks for
Great
having me
you.
again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Aaron, always a pleasure having you on the show as well. Thanks for making the trek down here, even though you have to be here early tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
The
that's
beanbag is back there if you want to sleep.
Right. I may end up doing that. If for most people that know, I like to group my Twit appearances together. So I've done that yet again. I'll be, of course, I'm on All About Android right now. I'll be on Floss Weekly tomorrow morning, where we'll be talking about BeagleBone, awesome open hardware platform for developers or people that are interested in making things blink and make noise and do all kinds of things. That's BeagleBone tomorrow morning on Floss Weekly. And then I'll be on This Week in Google tomorrow afternoon, again with Gina.
Yay,
That's
Gina.
right. We'll be the Wonder Twins. And
Wonder Twins activate.
right, I'll be the form of the bucket of ice water or whatever the person always turned into. Anyway, I'll be on This Week in Google tomorrow. We'll be talking about all things Google-y things. We'll be talking probably about some of the stuff we talked about tonight, but then mostly like, what's going on Twitter, what's going on with Facebook, what's going on in the media, all that kind of good stuff. That'll be tomorrow. And you can follow me on Google+. Add me to your circles. That's where I hang out most of the time. That's where I get to interact with people about, episodes of Twit or, things about Android or Google or making things, anything like that. You can find me on Google+, or just follow me on Facebook and Twitter. I think that's about enough plugging for me.
Awesome. Yeah, you're very active on Google+. You're stuff there all the time. Awesome. Thank you again.
You bet.
And Gina, another chance to talk up your awesome Think Up stuff.
I gotta get used to shamelessly pimping. Brand new crowdfunding campaign at thinkup.com. So brand new. I haven't even had a chance to talk to Leo and Jeff about it. So hopefully we'll talk about it tomorrow as well. But yeah, check out thinkup.com. Brand new crowdfunding campaign for my company social media analytics app, which is open source as well. And I co-host This Week in Google, and I'll be on tomorrow with Aaron, which I'm really excited about. And yeah, that's about it. You can find me online everywhere. Just put my name in the Google and you will find me.
Awesome,
and thank
Gina.
you. This was a really fun show.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And congratulations once again.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
congrats,
Thank you.
Gina. Right on.
And
you.
Chad, what's up with you?
Oh man, I was actually just handed a cookie, so I may have to.
It's okay. We understand.
I do a few things on the Twit network. Of course, I video switch all about Android, which is why I'm talking right now. You're probably like, who's this random guy? But I also do a show called OMG Craft, and I also do a show called This Week in YouTube. But for today, go to youtube.com/OMGChad, which is my personal YouTube channel, and subscribe over there.
There's a couple of cookie and thugs behind you about ready.
This is our gang.
Cookie zombies.
We're called the Cookie Gang. So
That's great. Save
Watch
yourself,
out for
Chad.
us.
Save yourself.
and Jason, what's up with you? What have you been doing?
Thanks. You can find me at about.me/Jason Howell, my musical exploits at yellowgoldmusic.com. I just got an email right before the show started that said that the CDs are ready to be picked up, so I can't wait to do that. I got to figure out how to get to San Francisco in the next few days to pick them up, but music news coming, forthcoming for sure.
And we get one, right?
Oh, yeah, everybody gets one.
gets
All right, just making sure.
We're on the
It's called
Kickstarter
the
because that's about all I ordered. That is it for this show. Fantastic episode, if I do say so myself. Leave us a voicemail, 347-SHOW-AAA. Email and video mail, always at aaa@twit.tv. Twitter, we are at Android Show. We have a Reddit, subreddit, twitaaa.reddit.com. And we appreciate you guys going there, voting stories up. I actually definitely checked our stories today against what was the activity on the Reddit. We need more people in there, so check it out. Show notes and past episodes can be found at twit.tv/AAA. Past episodes also on YouTube, iTunes, wherever you would expect to find our Twitch shows. Finally, you can catch us live every Tuesday starting at 5 p.m. Pacific at live.twit.tv. That's it for this week. We'll see you next week on another episode of All About Android.
Woohoo! Bye, everybody.